teammates to rise up within the ranks of EFF and tell Malemoni's face, like I once told him, that he must come to my chambers, I'll teach him politics, because he doesn't know what he's doing. However, again, on the same note, EFF can still correct it. MK is doing the same thing, you see. So they are not changing the problem. MK is not changing anything. They're just embracing what they left while they were in the ANC. EFF, the only problem with EFF, they have capacity, they have muscle to change everything. The only problem EFF they are suffering from, they are captured. They are cowards and captured.
Who is not captured?
No, irrespective who's not captured.
Define capture,
but the
so
thing is,
we know
they captured people, they built our country. That's the only thing that the Ramsa is asking you. We don't want your money. We just want your physical self to be part of the project. That's all. Because the only important thing that you need to understand, the revolution that will take place, it won't be televised. It will just happen just like that. There was our blueprint is to first empower our kingdom. They own the state.
You said kingdom.
Kingdom.
You said kingdom.
Yeah. We're talking about kingship. The kingdom, we are going to have what you call a king's council. Those are the people who will be a permanent state control. Who doesn't even have a future, but you still believe that person has a solution to your problem. And where's that person who was a president for fucking 15 years? Oh, sorry for my language. For 14 years, the whole 14 years, the man failed. But yes, you believe you'll bring a change. When he's going to the grave? Come on, man. Let's just start using our
That's
thinking.
exactly what I told you.
The problem is the white supremacy is using people like this to distract us. We have been misled, distracted, bamboozled by wrong things.
Mashiane, politically incorrect. We finally got hold of the general. He finally agreed to come back. This is a man who wants to revolutionize South Africa in a way that he thinks is the way of the general, in a way that he thinks is the most effective way, because ever since 30 years ago, when the ANC said they were ready to govern, they have not transformed society in a way that he thinks it's guaranteed. General RT, I hope I've covered it well. Is that consistent with what you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. ANC actually, they put us on what we called ICU. 1994 just gave us ICU. We believed in our black government that is going to bring us a land, participate in the mainstream economy, poverty will be alleviated, and then life will be better for a black child. Unfortunately, that is an opposite of everything. Instead, these guys line up their pockets, put the money in their pockets, accepted the bribe, so-called, in the name of shares in the white monopoly capital. In the corporations, in the companies such as the owners, such as the Ruperts of this world and the Oppenheimers, especially the Oppenheimers, played a very big role, and the Minel, to ensure that all politicians are captured. You can see, for an example, practical example,
Before you go further, just remind those who have not gotten an opportunity to watch what you do. Who is General RT? Okay. What political organization or political persuasions and ideology you come from, and you want to pursue, just so they feel where you come from. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you out there watching, enjoying the view here. I'm General Radical Touch. That is the code name which I was given by the platoon that I'm in. What we do is that we have a political movement And then our main focus is to ensure that this country is taken back to our people. Meaning our people, we're talking about our kings. That's why we had what we call the kingship. The kingship and the king's council. Those are the people who are supposed to be the state-owned, people who are supposed to run in the state. Because remember, we have a government and the state. Those are two different things. When you're talking about the state, we talk about a permanent thing. When you're talking about the government, we talk about a political agenda. So now we're talking about both the state and the government, the political agenda and the permanent entity called state, where our King's Council will be running this country, and then the politicians under the government will be reporting direct to the King's Council. So we are the revolutionary movement of South Africa. We're saying, let us rally behind the cause, because political agenda that we see in today, the current politics of today, are just politics of deception, politics of stomach, politics of intimidation and all sorts of corruption, lining their pockets, nothing else that they want. They just want you to vote for them the next elections. And while we are still stagnant, like I said in the initial stage, that we are in the position where 1994 put us on ICU, especially the black child. Is on ICU thanks to the ANC and its cronies who went to CODESA and go there just to line their pocket. So our ideology is simple: African socialism, African custom socialism, and then our main driver is a nationalism. That means we're putting the country, putting the South Africa, which it is Azania, we put ourselves first than anyone else, because right now we don't even have a country. Until we have a country called Azania, we remove South Africa, because South Africa is a geographical location. We cannot be identified with our own country. Until we call ourselves Azania and that sink in our heads, then we'll have an identity. Currently, we don't have an identity. So our African custom socialism, our African custom socialism, it is our way of saying, let us identify with our land. Let us identify with our kingdoms. Let us identify with our nature. The nature of a black person is out there. It's rain. We're talking about rain. We're talking about wind. We're talking about 4 elements of life, in short. So Ramsa is about restoring the dignity of a black child, restoring the dignity of our kingdom, restoring the dignity of our customs, making sure that whatever education that we consume and our children consume is in line with our land. It speaks to us as nature, as the people of nature, and it speaks to our land. Our heritage is the thing that we demand even today. That is our slogan. It says, land is the heritage we demand. Therefore, I'm still saying, 1994, 30 years ago, we were put on ICU. Even today, we are still in ICU. We are still following a wrong path. We need to come back and identify ourselves with our own land, identify ourselves with our own nature. Mr. Mashia.
Thank you very much. When you were here, you took issue with the current political system, the current political players at play, those who are ruling. And very topical is the fact that you think the economic freedom fighters, for an example, they are envisaging radicalism that promises a revolution that you think is not going to happen. And of course I was oppositional to you to say, I don't see what you're coming with succeeding, because people have tried it. And I also don't think there's any political party in South Africa, not only you, who can radically transform the current political and economic system. There's no one who's going to revolutionize South Africa, chiefly because of those who fund political parties do not want to fund this kind of revolution. And this is my stance. It's not only you. I say it when I'm with MK, EFF, ANC, and everyone, to say the thing that you say to us are not going to happen because you go and ask money from the people that you say you want to topple. Do you've got a different idea from what I'm putting to you?
Indeed, we have a very different ideas because we are not going to follow the footsteps of the choir. We are not going to join the choir whereby we will be using electoral system, because obviously the electoral system is captured. You can ask MK, will tell you that, which is something that has been done since 1994. Even Zuma, under Zuma himself, he enjoyed being the rigged votes. So today is like he's crying a foul. I don't understand why. But one thing that I can tell you about EFF, I love EFF because it is led by a young man, Julius Malema. However, they are not going to revolutionize anything.
They can't.
They can't. Why? For one reason, because they are captured. They are captured. So, but in the same note, EFF, they have a potential to revolutionize this country if they want. If they can just stop eating that KFC and focus on dealing with the current issues, stop being rhetorics, demagogues. Maybe. I'm not saying remove Malema or not. Malema is playing his own role. However, someone needs to rise up within the ranks of EFF and tell Malema on his face, like I once told him, that he must come to my chambers, I'll teach him politics, because he doesn't know what he's doing. However, again, on the same note, EFF can still correct itself. But what I don't like is what MK is doing to EFF. EFF is a continental political party. It's not a local or regional or provincial like that MK, which is tribal politics. He's preaching tribal politics. We don't need tribal politics. You know what makes us, what hold us back as people, especially black people, is this tribal politics. We are running politics like we are running our own Induna, our own crawl. That is wrong. They must allow EFF to do what EFF is doing. Support each other. Fighting each other is not going to take us anywhere. Instead, we become stagnant. And the same people who are, the same hand that is feeding both of them, they're happy, they're laughing, because the fight is no longer confronting the enemy. The fight is confronting, black people are fighting each other over what? Crumbs that fall from the chair, from the table of the enemy. We don't need that. We need the unity of black people more than ever. The world is changing. We are not changing. Instead, we are bickering amongst each other. We are fighting for nothing. We don't own means of production. We don't own economy. We don't own the land. We only have 4%. That 4% is owned by the government. They failed to provide, to give us 30%, which they promised in 1994 that they will give 30% of the land from which is in the hands of the Boers. So what happened to the struggle of the land? It's no longer addressed. We are talking now about MK taking leaders of the EFF. Now they are throwing insult at each other. Is this another 5 years of black people fighting each other? It's another INCAT and ANC. But this one is a rhetoric one. At least no one is sharing blood. But at least they scream at each other. But we don't need that. So I need to move away from those two parties. They just need to find each other and find peace and then unite with each other. We need to become a united nation. So when we talk about Ramsa now, Ramsa is a simple movement. We don't need a lot of things. We just need the entire country to rally behind Ramsa. When we go to union building, when we say to South Africa, let's go and remove Ramaphosa from the union building, we go there in numbers. We fill up that union building. In one voice, Ramaphosa must step down because you stole enough. Right now, we have SOEs. Who's running SOEs? Private companies. Who gave these SOEs to private companies? It's a GNU. Who's GNU? It's a new ANC faction of ANC that took liberal policies as their own baby to run along with. And it's something that is anti-majority of the poor people who are today suffering, not working, unemployed, unemployable. Even the education itself, how can you bring Bella Bill? That Bella Bill is not even changing anything. It's making things worse. Instead of you bring training, we used to have manpower in this country. Skills development. Now they give it to their friends in CETA. CETA is running with it. What does CETA has to do doing with this skills development? You see? So it's a big, guys, we have a crisis. This country is a movie, in fact. We are in a serious crisis. If you listen to the news all the time, they are addressing things that are not even important. They don't help people with anything. But they are busy talking a lot about it because that's what the enemy, that's what their handlers want. To focus us while the real things are happening without us.
So, the economic freedom fighters, so this is, you say, because they are captured, they can't bring a revolution. So, let's say they are not captured. They only have 10% of adult South Africans who can vouch for them. So even if they were not captured, that's not a good enough number for South Africans to be sympathetic to you. So you don't want to take government by force if you're a minority. The MK is the biggest political party of African people after the ANC. And they've got bigger following. But you don't seem to like them because they are using Zulu nationalism as a drum-up support for themselves. If you ask me, I see no problem with it because the damage has already been done by dividing us into separate nations. Then they call them tribes, so we could be tribal with each other, so we don't agree. I would argue that MK is doing what it can with what it has. Of course, the disclaimer is no political party is self-funding, so the idea and motivation from them will not be the same. But I want to put it across to you to say, you are going to be accused of not providing solutions and further dividing African people, because Ramsa in itself that you lead cannot do any of the things that you're accusing the big parties to do. Do you not think you are better placed to go to MK and EFF, and ANC if you need to go and champion your cause, to say, let us do this, than poking holes in both of them, because it further divides African people? I'm just asking.
All right. First of all, like I said, let me reiterate this. EFF is captured. They won't do nothing until they uncapture themselves. MK is also captured. They're doing what their masters are telling them to do, dividing them even
and
further.
Sorry to interject you, because I want you to qualify it, because by definition there will be no political party anywhere in the world that is not captured, because all political parties, there's no political party that can claim 100% self-funding. So, but I want to take it back to you so I don't interject.
Yeah, but I want to clarify something here. First of all, like Ramsa is self-funded. Is funded by the people who are there. Most of us, we are working at the same time. The money that we produce, with the money that we earn, we share the money with our families and the project itself. So they can do the same. A lot of people in the MK are business people. Some of them, they stole tenders, money of tenders. They can still go and take that money and fund themselves instead of being funded by the imperialists. EFF as well. EFF is even worse. In fact, both of them, they are worse. They are getting money they're getting paid by the government because they are in, as we speak, they are part of legislature, they are part of parliament. What are they using that money for? Because the master told them that this money can't fund a black agenda projects. Instead, what they do, they buy expensive clothes, cars, they just live in lavish style. So if they can start thinking out of those lines that, look, if we really want to liberate this country, if we really want to liberate our people, the voters, the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that we abstain from using money for the wrong things. You see? So we, Ramsa, we are very capable of everything that we are saying we will do. Because the only thing that we do, we are not addressing tribal issues. We are addressing national issues. Because if we start to address national issues, we are addressing national interest issues. We are focusing on what can we do best to liberate this black nation that has been in servitude for more than 400 years. That's what we think. Those are the lines that's why we're talking about African and custom and socialism. And then our main focus is nationalism. Why are we talking about that? Because we are inspired by the Pan-Africanist, I call him a black god, Marcus Mosiagavi. I'm the student of that man. So, that leader. So, if we focusing on that and leaving this thing of tribalism and whatnot, I can assure you, black people will be better off. Black people will thrive. Burkina Faso, I can make an example about Burkina Faso, and Mali, Niger. Those Sahel countries, it's not a mistake what they're doing. They should be our example. They're supposed to be our example. We should follow in their footsteps. In fact, we're supposed to join them to become one nation. In fact, to become an alliance with each other. Because they are doing a great job. Mali, they don't even have a debt as we speak. Even Burkina Faso, they are about to pay off their debts. But this country continue to go to IMF, World Bank to do what? To make more decolor. For who? For our children, so that when they grow up, they can go and pay for this. And these Madalas, they will be dead by then. They won't be there. But they are busy creating more debt for their masters because they are thieves and thugs and psychopaths. So we don't want that. So these people, they must stop indebting us in a way that this thing is going to affect 3 generations from today. We don't need that. Black people, they need to unite. They must stop massaging politicians because politicians are thugs.
I'm glad you used the word politicians because those Sahel leaders are not politicians.
Exactly.
They are not politicians. Exactly. And you are forcing to compare them with these South African and SADC politicians who are hell-bound on making sure that their own term of office, by the time it ends, they would have enriched themselves enough to go outside the national problems. So someone listening, they would, of course, say, General RT is naive to think or our political system could overthrow anything or even something akin to the Sahel regions. Those guys are blood brothers. Those guys are soldiers. Their thinking is not of someone who grew up in Kossas. They were fed ideology that they saw every day. So a career politician and an activist revolutionary are two different people.
That's why it's very important for the people who are listening out there to be part of Ramsa. Because Ramsa, we are on the road, our path. We are soldiers. We are not.
But you can't feed those people. The reason people go to organized political parties and active politics, they want to be fed. Yours is you want people to feed Ramsa, to capacitate Ramsa to take power. So I'm not saying you won't attempt. I'm just saying, as an African man looking at what you're doing, you are in the wrong side of Africa. Your ideals are very noble, but you are on the southern tip of Africa, where in 1488, when the people came here for the first time, they decided this is what we are going to eat for time immemorial, and they have declared so. And that's why it's very difficult to even live outside South Africa. They call it colonization of a special type, and it's not by mistake. People like you are many, but they will be stopped. But let me sit back and listen to what you're saying and not be...
I just wish those people can just give me a call, and then so that we can come together and then make sure that we enhance,
in Sahel.
we enhance this idea. Because the Bukinabe in Sahel, I can assure you one thing, those are our brothers, and we will join them.
They are.
And then I can tell you there is nothing impossible. The only thing that is impossible is the mindset. The people of SADC or South Africa, as this is a geographical location, mindset is the most important thing. Once we change our mindset, we start focusing on things that matter us the most. I can assure you, nothing is impossible. Nothing. We only need to change our mindset. We need to stop behaving like everything is okay, even though we are bombarded by poverty, bombarded by all the ills that is thrown at us. We need to become the patriotic people. We need to become patriotism to our own country. Because the moment, I can assure you, this is the last generation. And if this generation is gone, the next one is going to be a big, big problem. Because you're going to find that this country is now governed by foreigners. And we don't want foreigners to run this country.
You know why I regard EFF as the biggest political party, as the best political party? It's because they've got all those ideals. And when a chance is given, they try to live them up. But they do not have mass support. They've got less than 10%. And people only think of them when they want to shake up something. You were speaking about, and sorry to interject, you were speaking about you don't want to leave the country to foreign nationals. That in itself has been used against the EFF, used unfortunately against the EFF to draw people away from the EFF by just using foreigners. Someone who's sitting, who's looking and listening to what you're saying. You say, we don't want someone who's worried about the Sahel regions. Those people are fighting the French. We are not fighting the French. We are caught between the East in BRICS and the West in America and Britain. So our challenges are quite different. South Africans do not want unity. South Africans do not want to move forward as a unit. South Africans don't want Pan-Africanism. I say it with a very painful heart.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. Unfortunately, we are. I look at, if you go out and look at many of our people, they have no idea what is happening in the geopolitical world. They have no idea. They don't even know their own country belongs to Britain and England and America. They don't even know that this country, as we speak, is controlled by British and American people, governments. They don't know. They just think, no, we are living okay. These guys who come here illegally, they are running from their homes. Yes, they are running from their homes. That's true. Just wait until you have you have a problem where
just put on silent for the music. YouTube hates it when we play other people's music. So I want to say the West in American and British, we just frame it as American and British, but we're talking about the West, of course.
Yeah.
Those people have, for the longest time, controlled South Africa with their multinational corporations. I mean, your Anglos and stuff.
Even today.
Yes. And when the East, USSR as communist and the communists in China and stuff, they had always thought when we gain independence as African people, will remember the people who supported us in struggle. Do you know what the ANC did? They went back to the same people who were oppressing them.
That's why they call it the suffering from schizophrenia.
Exactly.
So if people are suffering
Stockholm syndrome, they went back to the people. The ANC went back to the people who were enslaving them. So they went back. It's like these Israelites going back to Egypt. Do you know why? Because they have got no other means. They are cowardice.
They are, in fact, let me not say lazy. You cannot take some old people whom their minds have reached saturated point. Those people cannot be taught anything. And
they run away as youth.
Exactly. They run away as youth and do wrong things wherever they were. And now they cannot be. You know, if the sponge is too hard, even if you can put water in that thing, it won't absorb water. That's what the ANC leadership is all about. They cannot be taught anything, those people. The only thing that they still believe in Lekgoalaka syndrome, or they are suffering from Lekgoalaka syndrome, those people. They want to be told what to do like children. Because when they say when you grow older, you reach that age of old pensioner, you go back, you become a child. So this is the sickness the ANC is suffering from. Now the same sickness is going to MK, because MK is doing the same thing. You see, so they are not changing the problem. MK is not changing anything. They're just embracing what they left while they were in the ANC. EFF, the only problem with EFF, they have capacity, they have muscle to change everything. The only problem EFF they are suffering from, they are captured. They are cowards and captured.
Who is not captured?
No, irrespective who's not captured.
Define capture,
but the
so
thing is,
we know
the captured people. The captured people are the people who are getting funded by the enemy, because the enemy
is not funded by the enemy.
18 political parties which we saw contesting elections, they are all funded by the same person.
I agree with you.
So therefore, I'm saying Ramsa is free from all those things. Come, people, let us unite and work and build our country. That's the only thing that the Ramsa is asking you. We don't want your money. We just want your physical self to be part of the project. That's all. Because the only important thing that you need to understand, the revolution that will take place, it won't be televised. It will just happen just like that. There was an instant, I remember, when WhatsApp was introduced in South Africa. I don't remember the date, the 2011-ish.
Yeah, 2012-ish.
Students, they organized it themselves in Johannesburg. No one knew about them marching, but the street of Johannesburg was full of students, especially scholars from high school. They went and marched. They caught even the law enforcement by surprise. You see, so South Africans, we must stop being comfortable in our enslavement. We need to stop that. That thing is actually betraying the generation that they come in, the next generation. We are betraying the next generation. Because if we allow simple like ESCOM, they're taking our electricity. Now they are taking water. They're increasing the money. You're paying a lot of money for electricity, and they're giving you a little. We are okay with it. You know, we're creating a comfort zone on things that hurt us the most, you see. And that is wrong. We cannot continue like that. We need to change that. Like I said, the mindset is the problem. The moment you start to change the mindset and understand, align yourself with the reality, and then strive to fight and then correct the mistakes, I can assure you, this country will come right. Right now, ANC know for a fact that those voters, they voted for us. We are going to do as we please with their vote. For the next 5 years, we are okay. Remember, people, they become comfortable. You can mistreat somebody now, every day, the whole week. After a week, that person will become comfortable. Okay, I know this guy is gonna treat me like this. That's why we have abusive relationships. People still stay in those abusive relationships because they created a comfortable zone within those comfortable relationships until that monster become monster more than expected. And then we start crying, that guy, he was a devil, or that woman was a devil. No,
Let's go
it's
to
not
Bobby
like
Wine.
that, you see.
Let's go to Bobby Wine. Maybe Bobby Wine has mass support, but does his support of the general population better than Museveni? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because, that's why I don't like democracy. Because with democracy, even people, when they love Bobby Wine, they might vote for Museveni even if they like Bobby Wine. Or whatever they could have voted for could have been changed to look like Bobby Wine does not have support.
Yes.
It's very difficult to topple the powers that be. An incumbent is very difficult to dislodge. And it's not only in South Africa. When I hear your story, I battle to see how it will succeed. And I'm not saying it from a point of discouraging you. I'm saying it as an African. I was telling a lady from Swaziland, they want to topple their king. And I was telling them, in South Africa, we actually wish we were you. Because then when we have a king, we'd rather convince, it's easier to convince a king to implement a political system that the king remains above, so we can play. But they want multi-party democracy like we have in South Africa. And I was telling her how much we are suffering in South Africa. And I was telling her that the parties in South Africa that you want support from, they also want that king to be there. And they are partisan to the relationship that they have with the king. So I'm just saying all of these things, not as to discourage you, but just to paint out that it's very difficult what you want to do. Let's say you do take power. I know we discussed it in the previous. Let's say you do take power. Are you going to use multi-party democracy? Are you going to use parliament to pass laws? Are you going to use constitutional democracy as the supreme law of our land? And then counter your answer with multinational corporations that are more powerful than the state, not the government, the state, because these guys are more powerful than the state. And you ask yourself, why would individual organization be powerful than the state? Because in China, Xi Jinping would not allow Jack Ma to be richer than China. He would not allow it. But in South Africa, it has bolted, and it's very difficult. When we say white monopoly capital, we talk about the Ruperts and the Minels. We are not just saying it, because those guys are real power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So, so those are the questions that are posed to you. I want to sit back and listen to how are you going to circumvent yourself around.
Okay, look, first of all, let me start by addressing issue of multinational. They are powerful.
Yeah.
What makes them powerful? Let's start there.
Because we ate their money. Simple as that.
Because of they are looting our mineral resources.
Yes.
And then out of their mineral resources, they are funding their hegemony.
Yes.
In South Africa. They're making sure that the indigenous people of this land are oppressed. Okay? So if you want, our policy, our blueprint is to first empower our kingdom. They own the state.
You said kingdom.
Kingdom.
You said kingdom.
Yeah. We're talking about kingship. The kingdom, we are going to have what you call a king's council. Those are the people who will be a permanent state control. They will be controlling the state, because state is a permanent entity.
Those people are funded by multinational corporations.
Wait.
And you said kingdom. You did not say kingdoms.
No. I'm not talking about kingdoms. I'm talking about, because you cannot have kingdoms. We need to have kingdom that is controlled by king's council. You see where I'm going? Because the only king South Africa is one. We cannot have doms while we have one country. So we need to have a king's council. That's where everybody will be running. I understand that there are captured kings in this country.
All of them?
No, not all of them. They are the ones that you don't know that I have in my corner, that they are not captured. I have kings that are supporting, they are part of Ramsa. Those are not captured kings. They are the poor kings that I have.
You answered it. You answered it.
Yeah, those are the poor kings that are with the people. I have them. We talk every day with them. So they still run programs, still even though they are poor. Some of them, they try by all means.
Capital hates them.
Capital hates them.
Yes.
They don't even give them their recognition, their certificate. Because most of the kings are not actually kings, they are regents. You see. And the regents, you know, they are vicious because those people, they don't want to lose power.
Regents protect the status quo.
Exactly. So, but this, Ramsa, our blueprint is to ensure that we give these poor kings their dignity to run the state. And after that, we are going to ensure that every mineral resource in this country is not controlled by any multinational anything. If you want to do that, you can do that at your own risk. We are going to ensure that our military is strong.
Before you go there, and allow me to put critique on this matter. It's an important matter. I saw it in the MK Constitution. And I engaged the MK Constitution. We spoke about it before you, the last time you were here. Talk about this King's Council. The apartheid system has successfully divided us so much that we can't even meet on a... Okay, let me just give you an example. At last count, the KwaZulu-Natal government was giving Isilo the budget of around 70, could be 65, 68, I don't know now. The last time I counted was around 70 million per annum. Let's talk about the Rain Queen, Mujaj. How much do you think she's given? Because I want us to start there.
Okay, look,
while answer that while you show me.
I want us to, like I said, we have kings, poor kings that are working with people.
Yes.
With nothing, but they try by all means to make sure that their people are taken care of. So the moment you start to kill money, because you cannot develop anything using money. What you need to do first, you need to conscientize people. You need to teach people how to be responsible, how to take care of themselves. You need to teach people how to be self-sufficient. Once people are self-sufficient, money won't be a priority. So currently,
are you still answering King's Council?
Yes, currently, we're having kings who are, I think, I would put it like this. The money that the kings are getting is a bribe to make sure that they do not speak. Remember, the hands that feeds you controls you. So now we're having the kings that are not controlled, are not fed by the system. They are actually outside the system. So we bring these kings inside. They will ensure that whoever is a rightful king, they know themselves. They will organize. Already we have organized kings. Those kings will go and organize the other kings and make sure that those kings, they become a council. They form what we call their own parliament, and that not this current fake one, Contraleza. That one is a fake one. I'm talking about the real kings that we have in our database as we speak. Those are the people who will identify the real kings. Remember, you asked me how many kings we have in this country. So those are the people who will be identifying each other. Remember, they will be working with Ramsa in making sure that everything has been correctly established.
We have less than 15 kings in South Africa.
Some
recognized by government.
No, those are not kings. Like I said, most of them, they are regents. So we are not talking about, we are
Let's
not
talk about kingdoms.
We are not going to recognize people who are regents, because
let's talk about kingdoms. Less than 15 of them are recognized by government as kingdoms. Whoever is holding the regency doesn't matter. So I'm telling you, the reason I'm telling you that is the kings in the clique that you have are going to find it difficult to dislodge the other kings who are fed off these government millions, because those kings have followers.
It's very nice, because we are going to take over the country. Once we take over the country, they are not going to get any money. So that means
then you are going to fight those.
No, we are not going to fight them.
Those less than 15 kings that are recognized by
They are
government.
not going to.
They will fight you.
No, they won't fight.
They will fight you. Remember what I said last time when we were here. I spoke about, let's do the most basic thing, General RT.
Yeah.
I'm called, as I am, I'm called a kitchen nigger for the fact that I've got a studio, I've got a house, I've got a car, I work, I sacrificed a bit of myself to acquire all these speakers and stuff. Someone thinks, I'm not happy with the way the country is going. Mashian, dismantle everything, let's start afresh. The reason I become a kitchen nigger is because I feel that, yes, we are oppressed, but it's fine, man, with this oppression. Do you understand?
I'm comfortable.
Yes, I'm comfortable. Yeah, I know, and I recognize that we are. So I become that slave who is unfortunately in the kitchen
and comfortable
because he's got aircon, than the failed Negroes who are feeling everything. You understand the difference? So what's going to naturally, we who are in the kitchen cooking, because we have attained, because of our few skills, we can speak the language of the master. We could speak well, and he favors us. He put us in the kitchen. It is we who are going to fight you in the field, because your revolution means and I'm using the most basic example.
I understand.
So not only you, but also the audience understand that I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic, that the reason revolutions don't happen is because there are a lot of people who saying, yes, I acknowledge we have problems, but hey, Mfetu, I sacrificed to get here.
No, let me correct you there.
Yes.
Not is the reason the revolution doesn't happen. The revolution doesn't happen because the politicians decided to take it upon themselves that they want to lead the people. And then they're leading the people to oblivion. Because instead of leading the people, they're misleading the people. They're stealing, they're making sure that all the money comes to them while everybody else starve. So that is not that's the only reason, because the politicians became gatekeepers of the system. So issue of bourgeoisies and kitchen people and whatnot, those are not the issue. The issue here is we need to make sure that black people, the black agenda is realized. And how is it realized? We need to come to become a unit. And then once we become a unit, that unit must be one thing. Number one, we need to make sure that we have a king, our kings in the state. They must run the state. They must become the custodian of the state, the kings. And then the politicians must support those kings so that the country can work perfectly. Without us coming together and become united with each other and become patriotic and forget money, for that matter. Forget money, because money, I know, is very nice. It's attractive to have money in your pocket. It's very nice.
Evil.
It's very nice. It's evil, but it's nice. A lot of people, they will do anything for money. They don't even think about consequences. So they can do anything for money. However, the country is going down to the drain because of people are in love with money, not in love with the country and its own people. Remember, once you start to love money more than your people, you hate your own children, because your children are the future. And now you love money, and that money will kill these children, because these children won't have morals. Number one, they won't even be patriotic to their own country. This is our motherland. We need this motherland to sustain ourselves. And in order for us to do that, we need to stop putting money as a priority. We need to start putting ourselves as people. We need to use ourselves as assets of this country, because without doing that, I can assure you, it doesn't matter whether you are a bourgeoisie or what. At the end of the day, you are going to leave a legacy that will kill your own children, you see. then we don't want that. We don't want to find. We cannot allow this country to go to decay like the way it is. Right now, we are flooded with a lot of aliens in this country. We cannot even control anything here. So, if we cannot control anything in this country, so what do we think we're heading to? That mentality of no, I have a child here, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, because these things have changed. Russia is fighting in Ukraine with NATO. They are not fighting for anything that is not that is out in their imagination. They are fighting to protect their own land, nothing else.
True.
They are fighting for their motherland. So we don't fight for anything. What do? We're doing wrong. We believe in these old people. I don't know what's wrong with our people, black people. They really believe in these old people. Someone who's going to die next year, someone who doesn't even have a future, but you still believe that person has a solution to your problem. And where's that person who was a president for fucking 15 years? Oh, sorry for my language. For 14 years, the whole 14 years, the man failed. But yes, you believe you'll bring a change. When he's going to the grave, come on, man. Let's just start using our
That's thinking. Exactly what I told you.
The problem is the white supremacy is using people like this to distract us. We are being misled, distracted, bamboozled by wrong things. So we are misdirected. If you give an old man too much money, obviously he's going to give all this money to the young kids, and those young kids will be confused, and they will enjoy eating this money. They won't even think about changing their lives.
The reason you are not on the SABC, ENCA, and Newsroom Africa is because you do not want to contest elections. And if you do not contest elections, you will not be on national news. I see your strategy is to convince South Africans to do something. It's a call for action. But only a few people will hear you, because only a podcast like mine can host your radical ideas. Because if you go to the national broadcaster, someone will take a call. Never bring that nonsense again and allow you to speak. You can speak,
yeah,
but your time will be shortened, and your distribution of your content will also be limited, and you'll have eyes, you'll have cars following you. The reason I'm telling you all of these things again, I repeat, is not to dampen your spirit.
Yeah.
It's just to show you how difficult it is. People know Zuma is an 82-year-old man who is
a failure.
No,
he's a failure.
Who has tried?
No, he's a failure. He tried nothing. The only person who has tried is someone who got us the land. Yes. So that man is a failure. Simple and straightforward. He failed.
So no one.
Look, I understand.
Even those who have land, they don't want to give land.
No, I know the people who have land is white people. They have 80% of our land.
It's a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
King of the Zulu people has land.
No, it's only that man. The king of the people doesn't have even 200,000. He doesn't have even 100,000 hectares. That man is only have tiny, it's a small space. He can't even host the whole Gauteng in that place.
No, so they said the whole of KwaZulu-Natal is his land.
No, it's not his land.
Who's lying to us?
The media is lying so that they can create more division within us. They perpetuating this so that we can hate the king of the Zulus because of Ngonyama Trust. Ngonyama Trust is not a big land. It's not. So
if Ngonyama Trust, who pays him to say, guys, this is actually not my land and it's not enough? Who pays him?
The person, the one who pays the piper, choose the tune.
Who is this payer?
The payer is the government. Is being captured.
Only the government.
Not only the government.
Who are these people who are paying?
The British, because remember the Zulu nation was created by Britain. So let's move away from that one
and let's talk solutions.
Let's talk solution. The solution is still the same. I'm saying to South Africans, we need to do away with the mentality of every man for himself. We need to move away from that. We need to bring back Ubuntu. Ubuntu means we need to work together as a team. Our country is gone. So I'm still saying Ramsa is a solution. Let us work together as Ramsa and then move forward this country. Because we want to take over the government and change everything, and change the entire system. Because democracy, number one, democracy is a scam. Voting system is a scam too.
True.
Because those two things, they do the same thing. They tell you about democracy while they are doing the different story. They dictate in terms and everything. So if we're talking about democracy is the government of the people, by the people. But in this country and other democracies that we hear people talking about, it's no longer about that. It's about the few controlling the rest. You see, so we need to move away from that. So Ramsa, solution of Ramsa is clear. We take over the country, we implement the new system. The new system, we bring back our own traditional way of doing things. Simple as that. Because until we go back, start from scratch, there is nothing else that will change. The only thing that will happen, we will continue to be living under poverty. We will continue to find our children being hooked on drugs, prostitutions, kidnapping, all sorts of wrong things. And then we don't need those stuff like that. This country, it has a potential. It has a very big potential to play a big role to make sure that Africa as a whole, it becomes liberated. We need to be part one with the Sahel region. Because if you can look at what Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, my favorite brother, is doing there, that man is doing wonders. So if we are not inspired by what that man is doing there, I don't know what else should inspire us, unless if you want to be inspired by NATO and America. So we cannot be inspired by the enemy. Let us look here at home.
General RT, you will hear more about Chris Brown filling up FNB Stadium than the biography of Ibrahim Traore. And it's deliberate. It's because you don't own media. I was speaking to Admiral Dr. Kanyesile Litchfield Chabalala. It pains me when I look at that doctor. Do you know what pains me? She left the EFF. And that comrade is not a politician.
He's a soldier.
She's a soldier.
So you cannot take a soldier
the
and make
same
a
way
soldier.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
but you know where she is? She's at MK. And I told her,
wrong house again.
I find it as someone who is so spiritual like her. You spoke about the land, everything is spirit.
You cannot.
She's a soldier. She's an activist. It pains me that she's going into active politics. Let me say, it pains me she's going back to active politics. And I told her I got shocked when I realized she's going. Of course, she justifies the reason, but I do not see it as a solution. And I'm saying to you, I do not see what you are doing as a solution. And I'm deliberately running out of time now, so that's why I'm cutting you. Okay. So I want to say to you, what if you are going to end up like economic freedom fighters? Because I do not see you reaching 5%. And at what point? Because you will never convince anyone in a political space to vote for you with the line of what you are going through. Blackland First tried, they could not succeed. They never got even 1%. So what is it that you are going to do should you do not get? Are you going to campaign like this for the next 30 years?
No. Let me correct.
Because you're going to be as old as Msholus.
No, let me correct you there. We are not going to participate in any elections.
Of course, I know.
Because elections are scams. And then why should we waste time in elections? I'm saying South Africa will be facing a revolution. And that revolution will never be televised. So, issue of elections and campaigning, forget them. All I can say to Dr. Litchfield Chabalala, stay away from politicians. You are a soldier. Ramsa is here. I need to speak to you and I can't get to you. There are too much gatekeepers. I tried many times to get hold of you, but I'm not. if you can, if you are watching this podcast, please let's try to link up, because I need us to discuss. Because I cannot speak with a civilian. At least the soldier will listen, will understand the language that I'll be speaking. All right, that is for Litchfield, that commander, Chabalal. So, with Ramsa, we are not saying we are going to mobilize the whole country to become members. We don't want members. We want South Africans to become South Africans, to become patriotic, follow Ramsa, where Ramsa is giving them direction. We don't want you to become members. We don't have membership forms. Don't even think about it. We don't even have a bank account where you will pay your 10 rand. We don't want it. So what we want you to become sufficient, self-sufficient, self-determined. We want you, South Africans, to become patriotic to your own country. Love your own country enough to stand up and fight for it. The platform of Ramsa is giving you a direction that this is the direction that we are taking. Think. How can you, for the past 8 years of being voting, what did you get? Nothing. So why are you still continuing the same thing every day? You can't win with votes. It's like swimming with pigs in the mud. The pig is happy because that's where he belongs. You don't belong in the mud. So get out of that mud, change your mindset. Let's go to union building. Let's fight for our rights. Water is a human right. Electricity is a human right. School is a human right. Education is a human right. So why are we allowing these things to go to decay in our lifetime?
Thank you.
We need to stand up.
Thank you. Mashane, politically incorrect. I don't know what you feel about this. I have in the past engaged with them, and I do not see how this will find a light of day. And of course, what I fear is in few years' time he will be late, and I will be talking about him to say, I lost my general RT, because those in power are not going to easily allow him to take power away from them. And I've never seen a revolution being campaigned on TV. I've never seen people campaigning for a revolution. Those who have, of course, have not succeeded. I do not see, even when he takes it, how he's going to sustain it with people who are faceless. What I'm saying faceless is people who are supporting him from the sides. That's me, Mashane, politically incorrect. It pains me seeing Africans coming with solutions that we know they're not going to work, because we are a defeated people. Sad to admit, but we are so defeated that even when he makes a lot of sense, those who need to support him and campaign with him are too comfortable in air-conditioned Mercedes-Benz called Maybachs. They do not want to entertain. They don't want to go back to being soldiers. Let me leave it at that. General, thank you very much for coming.
Remember,
Thank
people.
you.
Remember, people. Now I'm ready to fight to death for this country. So are you.
Thank you very much, Itada.